And we are very, very opinionated. We are not credibly neutral. We find good founders, we find good teams, and we can make the hell out of them so that they can win, so they can verify and showcase the power of our chain. And then that will inspire new players to come in. Liquidity goes where it's most appreciated, right? Activity goes where it's most appreciated. And that's going to be the environment which is the most efficient. And I think that is what ETH has been needing this entire time. When I think about our competitors, I think of just Solana, only Solana, right? Because Solana is the only environment which can actually compete. And it's the only environment which is so product focused, right? I learn a lot from Sol. I respect them immensely. They are product people, and that's what Ethereum has been missing this entire time.
Hey, Josh.
Oh, baby. Welcome to... Dude, I asked 3 seconds ago and I already forget what episode number we're on. What was it?
66, baby.
66, I see, yeah.
Welcome to Internet Explorers number 66, our weekly Friday show where we run down the most important, interesting, weird, stupid consumer crypto topics of the week. And I think we have a combination of all of those lined up for today. So we got Namik from MegaETH coming on shortly. I think they're doing a bunch of stuff in really interesting ways that are pretty different than a lot of the other kind of generalized chains that are coming out. So excited to talk to him. Obviously, Berachain launched this week. You know, some stuff to talk about there. Some
sure, we got big Farcaster news,
Farcaster energy, and a bunch of other shit. But Nicholas, how are we doing today?
Oh, we're doing great. I'm feeling good energy today. How are you feeling?
I'm good too. I was in New York for a couple weeks. Anytime I just hang out in real life with people, I just get a burst of energy for a few days. So
love it.
I'm amped.
Awesome. Peace, so much is going on. I feel good. Yeah, Peace, how are you?
Incredibly good.
I like that you're like the Wizard of Oz on this show.
Yeah, big time. Man behind the curtain. Had had some stumps ground out in the backyard.
Is that a euphemism? What is that?
Yeah, exactly. So it's a good morning. It's lunchtime already. We're good.
We need a little like waifu of Peace in the bottom left here or something. We
used to have it.
I used to have it.
We
got I was out of here for a while, and now I'm back. And
oh my god, we gotta get AZ to sponsor it. Yeah.
That would actually be sick. That'd be sick.
With Peace's voice,
dancing Peace with moving to Peace's voice. That'd be great.
Unmodified.
All right,
voice,
sick. Well, I think we're running late anyway, so let's get Namik up here and jump right
into it. MegaETH. Let's talk MegaETH.
Namik, what's up, man?
Hey guys, I'm doing well. How about yourself?
We're doing well. Are you
doing great?
Where are you hanging out? Is that a little MegaETH co-working vibes, or what's going on?
Yeah, I'm actually at the GT office. So GT is one of the applications building on MegaETH, part of Mafia. And I'm in New York for the next 3 months. So the team, the GT team is here, and we just basically co-work out of their office every day.
Oh, sick, man. That's awesome. I was there Tuesday, Wednesday. If I knew you were in town, I would have hit you up.
Dude, next time. I'm here for a while, so I'm sure we'll find time.
Okay, sick. We'll be back. But yeah, man, pumped to have you guys on. I think there's a ton I want to get into with your approach to community fundraising. I think a few kind of interesting approaches there that you guys ran recently. I think you're taking a very different approach, like incubating apps on your chain that are really just like killer examples of the unlocks of high TPS or real time blockchains instead of this kind of spray and pray approach. So excited to get into that, and always got to do a pulse check on the competitive landscape anytime we're talking a new chain. So yeah, excited to get into all that. But maybe just to start off, do you want to just give us a quick overview of what MegaETH is for those that are either unfamiliar, confused, or just disillusioned by all the new chains that are coming out?
Sure. So the buzzword is as follows: MegaETH is the first real-time blockchain. What does that actually mean? So we have effectively taken an extremely pragmatic look at what it means to truly scale a blockchain. We use a technique called heterogeneous node specialization, in which we effectively decouple consensus from execution. We outsource consensus to really performance, that's not the right word, really decentralized and extra live settlement layers. And we focus on building the most performant execution layer possible. So that's exactly what we are. We're a blockchain of no consensus. We outsource that to other chains, namely Ethereum. And we focus on building an environment which has unbelievable levels of performance, something that can't really exist in any other construction. The end result is that real-time performance. So that means 100K TPS, 10 millisecond block times, and that actually goes down to 1 ms and then sub 1 ms in the future. Enables an entire new design space for applications. So obviously in the DeFi side, it's insane, right? A lot of the bottlenecks associated with like on-chain finance, a lot of reasons why on-chain finance hasn't been able to pick up nearly at the extent of centralized exchanges. All of that's gone with MegaETH. But what is probably more interesting for everyone here is like, and it's a massive unlock for consumer applications too. You have this level of ping and extremely low latency, which creates seamless experiences on chain. Imagine games like Call of Duty, like Minecraft, where you're able to do stuff on your computer and have that represented on chain in real time, right? Really delightful. So we're super excited. We think it's unlocked like an entire new design space for applications. Applications will actually bring in users because they'll be fun, they'll be cool, and most importantly, they won't be janky, right? Blockchains are super fucking janky, and we're hoping to fix that. We fix that using this Mega Mafia strategy, which is effectively, hey, we have made some crazy design choices to be able to hit the level of performance we have. We have fully centralized block production, maximally decentralized block validation. We better find some apps which justify this architecture. So what we've been doing for the past year and a bit is finding super cracked founders and effectively locking them in a house for a month and forcing them to come up with super sick ideas. And we're really excited about it. We have now 17, 18 teams building net new applications on MegaETH. And it's fascinating because some of them have actually started to pick up. They've become category creators, building all kinds of cool stuff.
Yeah, I'm curious what kind of games or applications make up that set of new things that we can look forward to.
Sure. So I'll focus on the non-strictly DeFi apps, right? Starting on the furthest end, right? We have full games. So I don't know if you guys remember On Cyber from last cycle. It was the NFT galleries. So the founder of that is now building AWE, Autonomous World Engine. You can think, and yeah, bingo, that's On Cyber. This was his first project. Now he's effectively building an autonomous world engine. Think of it as Roblox, but fully on-chain. Roblox, but fully composable. And the exact same UI, UX as Roblox. I think it's fascinating when you come to a world where you realize that when everything that you're doing in the game can be represented on chain, that creates an entire new design space for what the application can enable. So you can see here, this is the engine that they're using, but obviously it's going to be made for actual customized games. What's really cool about this is you can create all kinds of amazing if-then statements. I don't know if you guys know about the game Rust. Have you heard of it?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, so Rust is effectively this game that's like a 24-hour, 24/7 Minecraft world. You come, you build your house, you do all kinds of stuff, but when you go offline, your house is still there, your land is still there. So the issue is grifters emerge, and they want to come and destroy all your shit. So the solution in Web 2 is people take turns staying awake to guard their land. Well, with crypto, what if you could effectively make a deal with a DAO saying, hey, this is my land, this is my property, you should just write AWE. Or just go to Mega Mafia. We follow all of our teams through that. Yeah, there we go, Autonomous World Engine. So this is one of the teams building on MegaETH. So what you can end up doing is you can be like, yo, why don't we make a deal? I'm going to be offline. My house makes X amount of yield from crops per day. For the hours you protect my property, in a smart contract, we can guarantee you get a percentage of my yield. And if this land is destroyed, now you have to effectively get your ETH slashed, or your asset that you've put on as collateral slashed. So they're basically rebuilding the internet and games from a crypto native perspective, right? Like permissionless, decentralized, allow people to earn for the products they build. I think another great example is Noise. Have you guys heard of Noise?
Yeah, we know Noise.
That'll be like Noise_XYZ. So Noise is fascinating. The team is cracked, right? Did we get the right handle? Yeah, okay. There you go.
Yeah.
Luca, that's it. So these guys, we met them many, many months ago. And brilliant consumer founders out of USC. And they're in the trenches, just like all of us. And they've noticed a massive problem, which is, hey, let's say I want to buy a meme coin. something happened on the news today. Let's say like, someone found out about Elon Musk's dog or Elon Musk's squirrel, right? Well, there's now 1 million meme coins on pump.fun. Which one is the correct meme coin to buy? You don't know. It's difficult. So what these guys came up with, like maybe like 5 months ago now, 6 months ago, was, hey, what if we were able to trade mindshare, trade trends in real time, right? Create markets for assets that no one has heard of before, or hasn't been able to properly price before. So it's really exciting. We're seeing that other people are starting to learn a bit about this kind of idea, and it's actually growing. I think that's like the main essence of the mega mafia, right? Is we want teams to create categories, create applications that can't exist on any other chain, because they really look at the unlock of MegaETH, which is 100K TPS, 10 millisecond block times to build phenomenal applications. And we have more, but we can go on for a while.
Yeah, there's a bunch of good ones that I recommend people checking out. Yeah, Namik, when you were kind of formulating the Mega Mafia, I'm curious how you approached it. Like, were you like, okay, we need some DeFi applications, some social applications, some kind of gaming applications, or were you just like, let's just find the 20 most cracked founders, they're going mass market, we're not trying to like appeal to crypto Twitter here and give them a bunch of shit to do on day one? I'm curious how you approach that.
Yeah, so I mean, definitely I understand the need for certain kinds of applications to exist on the chain. And we definitely like have that as a priority. Like that's a DeFi application right there. It's a lending central limit order book. But it was very much the latter, which is, okay, we need to find people who want to build billion-dollar businesses. People in crypto, this is another amazing project, Pump Party. Really big fan of it. I think the C Club guys are as well. And yeah. I effectively was like, okay, let's find the best founders that we can, and let's help them win. And they have to be ambitious. I think one of the biggest issues of crypto right now is everyone just thinks small. It's like too PvP, right? You're not focusing on actually creating something of value. So the idea is like, okay, let's find some really, really smart builders that want to build amazing things, and let's enable them to win. And has that manifested in DeFi? Yeah. Has it manifested in gaming? Yeah. Consumer? Yeah. I mean, there's a VPN being built on MegaETH. There's a wide range of applications because our thesis has always been founder first. We need to make sure that we have amazing experiences, which will bring in new users.
Yeah, got it. Awesome. Yeah, let's jump to how you guys have approached community fundraising, because I think we've all seen how these token launches where teams have raised too much, primarily from VCs, have to allocate whatever 40% of the airdrop to them, are kind of forced into launching at high FDVs with low floats and all the downstream effects of that. And I think you guys have from day one taken a pretty obviously different approach. Like you raised a bit, but significantly less than most chains do, and then you went and raised a community round on Echo, and most recently you kind of announced this NFT kind of base community fundraising round. So curious, like has this always been kind of the plan from day one? Have you just kind of watched this space and seen kind of growing retail interest and kind of disillusionment with the VC cycle? Or yeah, I'm curious how you guys are thinking about it.
Yeah, for sure. I guess I'd preface this by saying like our entire team has been in crypto for a while, right? And by that I mean like we've been in the trenches. I started in crypto with like half an ETH, and just like figuring stuff out, finding cool protocols, building conviction and thesis around these protocols, and being a part of the early days of those stories, right? And that's what 2021 was like. People keep saying like, oh, why did altcoins go up 100x last cycle but not now this cycle? One of the reasons is because there's a cajillion altcoins now, but another reason is because there wasn't this gross amount of just like massive size being deployed into private markets. So projects grew with the community, right? And I would say somewhere in like 2022, we kind of lost the plot for a variety of reasons. Like there was a really scary regulatory landscape, right? Gary Gensler was wilding out. But the end result was effectively all value accrual ended up happening in private markets. And the outcome of this is, okay, if you raise like a $3 billion valuation, well, I mean, how do you even do that? I'll walk you through what I believe was the strategy which other chains deployed in the past, which is, you raise your like pre-seed round, raise a bit of money. You're kind of well capitalized. And now what you need to do is you need to raise another round at a very high valuation to justify and signal to the market that you're a boss, right? Like you're legit, you're a top dog, right? So how do you do that? Well, you need to build some tech, usually, not always, but it's good to build something. But then what you have to do is you need to show that people like your thing. So you deploy some sort of farm program, a points program, something of the sort to say, look at my Discord. I have 9 billion people in my Discord, and I have like a quadrillion GMs a day, like future friends.
PMF.
I have this data.
Yeah.
That's PMF. This was PMF. I have this data. Then I have a chain, and I go and I raise at a multi-billion-dollar valuation, right? And now I'm really well capitalized because the market will obviously price the project at multiple $1 billion because that's what a VC paid for it. And I'm going to go, and then obviously you have to go to all these centralized exchanges and, pay your respects and all of this stuff. And you're kind of minted. You're good to go. You're chilling. You retire, right? And this isn't great because what ends up happening is to create a guaranteed markup for these VCs, you end up like launching this coin at like a disgustingly high valuation. And what ends up happening? Someone like me, someone like you, like the listeners on this call, and that's not fair. Like I am fortunate enough to be able to invest in like angel rounds, but I wasn't a couple of years ago. So the vast majority of people end up looking and saying, wow, I actually like this idea a lot. This is really cool. I want to participate in this network. I want to help the progressive decentralization of this network. And I guess I have to buy a 10 bill FDV bag coin to do so, right? And now that's where the incentives just go to complete shit. So I think for us, we were always really, really cynical. I also think that the whole farming meta leaves everyone unhappy. The farmers are farming the chain when the chain is worth nothing. And then the chain becomes worth a lot of money in private markets. And then the team is like, oh yeah, like this thing is worth, how many billions of dollars? Like, what has this community done to help me? Like a little bit, but not that much. And then everyone is unhappy when the time comes, right? So for us, we were kind of like sick and tired of this system. I think that in our opinion, we are a tech-first company. We're a performance-first organization. And we think we've built something unbelievably cool. Again, there are trade-offs. I'm not trying to sell magic in a bottle when I say that we are able to be like 10 times faster than any other chain in the world with like, God knows how much like order to magnitude of decrease in latency. It's because we made trade-offs. We got rid of consensus. But we do think it's the next evolution of blockchain architectures. We believe it's the end game construction of execution for users. And we want to reset the playing field. We want to let people in and participate in a 10, 20-year story for MegaETH. And what's the best way to do that, right? So, we obviously raised our round. Vitalik participated, Joe Lubin, Dragonfly, Kobe, Hasu, Mert, a bunch of these names. And what is that? Why is that good? It shows validation to the market. Okay, this idea has merit. It has feet. And since then, we got pretty big. We got a lot of hype. And it would have been super easy to raise like a large valuation round and play that game. But like, then we're running the same issue, which is like end users get screwed. And like, that's not the business we're in. So we were like, okay, let's do something a bit controversial and let's do an Echo sale. So Echo is this platform created by Kobe, who's like a crypto OG who I think everyone at university agrees is a good actor. And you use this thing to effectively invest in private rounds. You have to be an accredited investor in the US or follow accreditation laws of whichever country you're in. Most countries are not as strict as the US, but it's still a KYC platform. So we chose to do raise $10 million. I believe that was the amount on Echo at the exact same terms as the VCs and the angels. And the terms were the exact same as the angels and the VCs. I would say the sale went pretty well. It was the largest sale in Echo history by multiples. And we sold out in like a minute, which was pretty cool in my opinion. And I think it showed both demand in our technology as well as it's like a rage against the machine. That like this current system is fucked. So we did that, and that was awesome. And we brought in, I think, 3,200 new investors into MegaETH, which is like really beautiful in my opinion. And as we continue to move on building MegaETH, we kept saying, okay, we have testnet coming in less than a month, which is really exciting. We want to keep this ball rolling, and we want to get more people to have a relationship with MegaETH in one way, shape, or form. And we decided that NFTs are the most crypto native way to do it, right? So we found a system that it has no KYC, but is still AML compliant. It is effectively allowing anyone who's on this whitelist to participate in the sale, where the NFTs receive at least 5% of the token supply with a very innovative vesting schedule. It's pretty exciting because this allows us, the first NFT installment, allows us to retroactively choose our community, right? We're effectively able to say, hey, there's 80,000 wallets of people that we think have been really active in crypto, have done a service to our industry in one way, shape, or form. For example, we have a lot of, you can basically see the entire list here. Ranges from Tornado Cash donors to on-chain degens to builders like many of the Seed Club builders, right? Wide range. And we thought this was another beautiful way to effectively help get everyone to have skin in the game, because skin in the game means we have the same upside and we have the same downside. We take risks together, and I think that's the best way to build a community. I think that, in my opinion, we're not big fans of the GM forums on Discord, from the raids. It's not organic, it's not real, and to a certain extent, how can you have a community before you even have a chain, right? It's, I think, a tiny bit of a LARP. What is there to? It's literally just all
100%.
mega GMs. It's all bullshit. But we want to be able to say, hey, if we were to have a community, how would we structure our community? And we're trying our best. And I'm sure there's mistakes, but we try what we can.
Can you say a little bit more about the vesting innovation you mentioned?
Sure. So these NFTs will effectively have 50% day one unlock and a 6-month linear vest, right? What's exciting is we've introduced this revolutionary architecture called KPI vesting. And we're not going to tell what the KPIs are, but if certain KPIs are hit, the vest actually accelerates. So it's possible to have effectively a much higher unlock day one than 50%, which I already think is pretty sick. Euphoria, by the way, is one of my favorite applications in the world. The team is so unbelievably cracked, super kind, sweet dudes. The founder is this guy called Nathan Worsley. He is an MEV Chad. There's Forbes articles about him. Not even kidding. And he's effectively decided to solve the issues associated with complex trading, right? Yeah, WO. Yeah, that's the first one. Yeah, bingo. So he's a super cool dude.
So what is it? It's a wallet?
No, it's a game. It is effectively gamified options trading. So he's invented this new type of trading called tap trading, where you can effectively, join the waitlist, everyone, where you can effectively tap. I think I've shown this game to Josh, but you basically tap where you think the price will go, and it effectively will price the odds of it going into that tile in real time. Again, this is something only possible with MegaETH's architecture, which is why we're super excited about all of the teams building with us.
Yeah, it's kind of like, Nicholas, if you remember, draw the chart where you would kind of predict what the chart would look like, and then based on your accuracy, you would rank on the leaderboard. It's kind of like that. You're choosing basically a square where the chart is going to be in some future period of time, and depending on I think the odds your payout is different or something. Yeah, I agree. Sick product. Okay, nice. No, maybe last question before we let you go. I think I saw the Mega Mafia bio is make Ethereum so great again it hurts, or something like that. I'm curious what your sense of the current sentiment of ETH land is today, and what you think needs to happen to kind of get it back to greatness. Sure. So there's this chart somewhere about how this is not what a bull market is supposed to look like, right? And in that chart, we're effectively seeing everything is down 80% except for Bitcoin. And I've been thinking a lot about why is this the case? And I have at least my answer, which is
smart contract-based blockchains have not found PMF. They have not found the reason why we all entered crypto is not what we do with on crypto today, right? The only thing which is found and has maintained its role is Bitcoin. Bitcoin is a store of value. Everything else is cooked, right? And what does this kind of look like, right? Ethereum is great. I love ETH. I'll explain how I feel about ETH. But I'd also argue that like the only thing that's found some PMF is Solana as a meme coin casino. And that's why it's doing super well. But even then, how well is it truly doing, right? It's barely hit all-time highs from last cycle. We're starting to realize, wow, we live in a world where all-time highs cannot be taken for granted because we fully delineated away from just traditional bear markets into what actually has utility. Hyperliquid is doing great because A, it makes revenue, but B, it's just a perp dex. It allows people to trade the casino well and on leverage. All the other things, all the other ideas have not found PMF, which is why I think over and all, like more or less all altcoins are fucked. The cycle, it's over, right? And I think Ethereum is a great example of this because the Ethereum is the world computer. It's this dream of all of these crazy ICO ideas. Do you guys remember decentralized Uber?
Oh yeah.
Decentralized Airbnb? Like, what? Those are cool ideas. It wasn't possible because the chain was shit in a jokey way. It was slow. But we aren't talking about these ideas anymore. They're gone. They've been replaced with like, will Kanye West launch a meme coin today? That's the conversation on the fucking timeline, right? So I think that's the reason why all of these altcoins are in danger. And I think that's the reason why ETH has had such a hard time because ETH represents these ideas. And these ideas have not been important at all this cycle, right? So I think that's where MegaETH also comes in. We're going to make Ethereum so great again that it actually hurts. And why is that the case? Because we are the perfect construction. We are the perfect construction for a settlement layer, right? We believe that settlement layer should not do execution. Full stop. No blockchain that has consensus should deal with execution. It makes no sense. Delineate these two tasks. We focus on execution. Settlement layers focus on settlement. And that is what Ethereum has been needing this entire time. It went ahead and built the most decentralized Turing-complete blockchain in the entire world. And then it got a bunch of these L2s that wanted to rebuild L1s on top of the L1, right? Make it make sense. Why are you trying to replicate, at that point, build an L1, right? Wait, sorry, go for it, Nicholas.
So you're not concerned with Solana taking the trophy here and becoming the culture around deploying contracts, particularly, you know, many of them are not verified. A lot of the logic happens off chain. People are using these the same contracts for lots of different projects and doing most of the work off chain. However, some people think that, you know, the simplicity of Solana and the sort of cleanly usability of wallets, the wallet experience on Solana might make it a better venue for smart contracts going forward. You don't worry about that?
Yeah, I mean, I think that like we can talk about the SVM and how that's constructed. I think my point is more so about consensus. And I think that any chain that does consensus will always be slower than a chain that does not do consensus. Like, I don't think this is a controversial take. It's physics. So when you play this outcome, right, you end up realizing execution will naturally flow to the more performant environment. Even Chow from Align Style acknowledged this is like, he made this tweet last week saying he thinks Solana is the end game form of blockchains. And then my co-founder Xiao, brother Bing, was like, haha, this is what all the ETH maxis were saying when Sol was at 8. And then Chow basically asked, would we ever launch MegaETH on Solana? And then we explained why we wouldn't. And then he quote tweeted us saying, for what it's worth, a chain like MegaETH will, because it's centralized, and we are centralized, we have the guarantees of Ethereum L1, that's why we built it the way we did, we'll likely end up getting all these HFT players, all these sophisticated funds to end up coming in and interacting in this environment. So I think my argument was more so around L1s, or like, let's say, settlement layers versus execution layers. I think your point was more so about like SVM versus EVM, and in particular, an EVM as old and ossified as Ethereum L1, and their inability to push new, effectively like EIPs and ERCs that can make the chain a bit more usable. Is that the case?
Yeah, or just the unified experience of having everything on a single chain as opposed to the L2 differentiation, which just confuses UX at the end user
For sure.
experience level often, at least traditionally until now.
So we believe in funnily enough, we believe in this like a single state machine as well, right? So Solana wants to make this one environment where everything exists, right? So do we. We just don't think it's possible if you have consensus. So we're trying to do the same UI UX experience as Solana, right? Like MegaETH will be able to handle more computational load than every single other chain in the world combined times 5. Something absurd. And again, I'm not trying to, it's not like we found out some new genius way of doing things. We've made trade-offs that we think are worth it and make sense. And I think the outcome of that is we want to build this unified environment, and we are very, very opinionated. We are not credibly neutral. We find good founders, we find good teams, and we can make the hell out of them so that they can win, so they can verify and showcase the power of our chain. And then that will inspire new players to come in, right? So yeah, I would say like, I get the point. I'm not too worried about it, mostly because I think like, in the end, like liquidity goes where it's most appreciated, right? Activity goes where it's most appreciated. And that's going to be the environment which is the most efficient. And I think that is what ETH has been needing this entire time. When I think about our competitors, I think of just Solana, only Solana, right? Because Solana is the only environment which can actually compete. And it's the only environment which is so product focused, right? I learn a lot from Sol. I respect them immensely. They are product people. And that's what Ethereum has been missing this entire time. We need more Bronze Age mentality, and we're fine with that, and we're going to just do it.
Awesome.
Love it.
All
right, man.
Thanks for coming on.
Yeah. Thanks for jumping on.
Sure.
Have a bunch of topics. We'll let you get back to your GTE New York life. Yeah, man. I'll hopefully get to hang soon.
100%. Have a good day, guys. Bye-bye.
Thanks,
All right, you too. Awesome.
Nice. I just love that we have all these different approaches playing out. And I tweeted this morning, and it feels like the like window to launching a new generalized chain is closing, or we're like in the last like 6 months of actually being able to do that. And when we have this like rapid kind of building out of the application layer, I think the network effects around, the existing chains are just going to get so strong that like coming, regardless of your technical innovations, like in a year or 2 years, building a new generalized chain, it's just gonna be so hard to fucking get any attention. So I think
when is the fluffer?
we should ask when the fluffer is. I don't know.
Oh, okay. We don't know. It's
out.
not known. Can't wait.
We'll find out.
I like the rabbit themes. I just like all the rabbit, the M bunny ears, rabbit speed.
Yeah, it's like a throwback to it's early next week. There we go. Thank you.
Okay, the fluffer's next
awesome.
week. Let's
it'll be it'll be interesting to see. I mean, I think the real challenge that everyone is facing is so many of the participants in the market are primarily interested in extracting from token launches, and so the underlying products, even if they're decent products, people are not primarily motivated by long-term retentive engagement with the products themselves. So I don't know if faster blockchain solves that. I hope so.
I think a lot of that is just like how you bring it to market. Like that hasn't happened with Hyperliquid. I think when I think the approach MegaETH is taking, where it's not just like come do a bunch of this shit and you'll get a fat airdrop. It's like, you get chances, to invest and put skin in the game. And I think that creates a very different, like if you buy into Fluff World or Fluffy or whatever, and then you're trading more than you're like farming for an airdrop. And I think it's going to feel different when you like 3x your NFT price and feel great, and are now excited to go try MegaETH eco projects versus like getting a fat airdrop, seeing it's launched at too high of an FDV, be like, shit, I got to dump because this thing's going down, and then just like looking elsewhere. So I think I agree, but I also think the way you bring it to market has a pretty big impact on it.
Yeah, absolutely. And maybe the faster block time will enable new kinds of applications that can have an audience that are not primarily motivated by crypto speculation. I think the challenge for founders has often been that just the multiples for doing tokens that target the existing crypto native base are just so much more lucrative than building applications which have to fend for themselves amongst Web2 applications as well, that it's been a challenge. But maybe this new technology and the new go-to-market strategies can really move the needle. So exciting to see. When is their mainnet?
I think testnet is this month.
Okay.
I
So
think
coming
like
soon.
towards the end of the month, and then I don't know.
Well, talking of mainnet, Berachain just dropped. Do you have some thoughts on Berachain? I know you're a little bit deeper into that world than I am.
Yeah, I have a lot. I guess I think it just a sick journey that they've been on from this like smoking bear NFT project to a hyped up L1 that is whatever raised hundreds of millions of dollars, and it does have, I think, a cool new consensus mechanism. So I think like great, cool journey, great that they got here. Big swing. But I don't know. I again just like think they've like kind of fucked up how they brought this thing to market, and it's just crazy how much the immediate price action of these things impacts like the public sentiment of their chain and their intentions, and like really like the willingness to lean into an ecosystem and see what it's about. And I think what we saw with them, when they launched, so the price ripped for like 30 minutes because they immediately had a bunch of sex perp listings were listed on Hyperliquid, but there were some like hoops to jump through to claim your airdrop, so there's very little supply. And then once that supply came online, again, kind of like low float FDV launch, I think 40% was going to investors. Obviously, wanted to reserve a bunch for kind of future emissions and stuff. So very very low float, and then you kind of just saw it dump throughout the rest of the day once that supply came online. And yeah, I just think when you have this down only price action, it just like very negatively impacts the sentiment of your community who are watching the price of their tokens tick down. And it also just doesn't give people who are maybe sidelined, which like I very much consider myself. I didn't have time to get deep into the Berachain community, and it doesn't give you as like a potential buyer any confidence to jump in when you just see this chart going down only, right? So I think everyone just kind of sits, people capitulate, and then all the think boys go wild, calling it dead, a scam, whatever. So obviously it's it's day one. Love the team, excited about what they're building.
Yeah,
I don't know. I just hate that chains continue doing this.
Yeah, you see the opposite alternative in other altcoins. Like I was just randomly pulled up XRP, which is I think just hit an all-time high in the last week or so. These are chains that people will have a commitment to a kind of ghost chain, zombie chain for years, given that they rode it up from some low price even
100%.
a half decade ago, even a decade ago at this point. So yeah, definitely the way that the tokens come to market and the influences how people feel about them and how retentive they are to the token overall.
Yeah, I'm just a huge believer in raising way less money, launching with more available supply, starting at an obviously undervalued FDV, not having exchange listings immediately, and really just like giving people who believe and are excited a chance to like accumulate and really just like properly manage momentum. Like momentum's everything. Price drives sentiment, which drives usage and adoption, which ultimately builds community. And I don't know, I think you need to be really thoughtful about creating an up only environment if you can for some period of time. And I think, Hyperliquid just continues to be the gold standard there.
Damn, yeah. I don't know. I really wonder. I mean, like, I can't tell if that actually matters in the short term. It definitely does. And I guess I'm looking at some dubious charts here, but I just am reminded of getting into crypto and seeing, isn't that chart something? My God, just like seeing obliterated, bottomed out everything in 2020, like high valuations that were just tokens that were destroyed after the first 3 months of being launched or something. And all those went on to do hundreds of multiples beyond where they were once they found enthusiastic community members, all the same.
Yeah, no, and I'm not saying like this kills a chain by any means. Like this is a very, very long game. There's tons of opportunity to continue, getting cool shit built there and pulling new people in. But I think if you assume price discovery is going to happen regardless, it's much better for you to price discover up than price discover down.
Yeah, that's true. But here, this is where legends are made.
100%.
Down here. Don't be discouraged. They dumped your coin. Keep going.
I agree with that. Absolutely. All right, Tick, let's jump
Nice.
to Farcaster in Coinbase wallet. So there were
Yeah.
a bunch of Farcaster news this week, I guess, suggesting they're finally starting to get more serious about actually growing their.
Yes. Oh, we might have lost Josh.
Oh, crumbs.
Yeah.
Their
Farcaster
daily active
is
users after years of. Am I back?
Yeah, you're back. You're back. Say again the last thing you said.
Okay, nice. Yeah, just saying, you know, we've seen some things this week that suggest they're finally actually going to attempt to grow their daily active users and set after years of kind of ignoring it. So one of them was announcing Supercast, you know, kind of great Farcaster client. I think Waj is a great builder. I think he's going to be leading growth at Farcaster. So that's, you know, that's great. But really, like, the big news was getting integrated into Coinbase wallet.
Yeah, and I believe Rainbow also. I'm
cool.
not sure it was as clear in the Rainbow announcement, but deeper integration into Rainbow. But primary announcement was Coinbase. Jesse's taking over control of wallet efforts at Coinbase, and as a part of that, is going to be integrating Farcaster into the experience. I am anticipating probably. I would be interested to see if they end up not doing too much Farcaster branding inside of the app, but instead just surface social features, subsidize the experience for people who download their smart wallet, and also surface the mini apps that are starting to pop up on Farcaster. I think there's going to be huge opportunity for people who have been building or are going to start building mini apps, aka Frames V2, which hopefully they'll jettison that horrible name. In favor of what it really is, which is just a thin wrapper around web apps. And what I'm seeing is a convergence between dApps and mini apps becoming a surface for you to distribute your dApp that is already available inside an app that is already on the user's phones, that already has notifications active, which just makes them so much more powerful and able to gain usage than having to either go through the hoops of the App Store regulation process, which is just very difficult to get through if you want to issue crypto assets or let people interact with crypto assets. Famously, OpenSea, Rainbow, not being able to let you play with NFTs because they're considered digital assets by the App Store rules. And also very difficult to get people to install your standalone app and turn on notifications and keep it on their phone. So if people have Coinbase Wallet on their phones already, which tons of people do, millions, maybe even more than 100 million people, I guess it'll depend on the way that they relaunch it. I doubt it'll take over the whole Coinbase app, but likely still be a second Coinbase Wallet app. But in any case, this becomes a really attractive surface if you're building apps on Ethereum, primarily, maybe Solana someday. What better way to distribute than to surface inside of an app where people already have some crypto to pay the gas fees to interact with your experience, and where if they install the application, if the experience is anything like Warpcast, they'll also have notifications broadcast via the Coinbase Wallet app, which may well have notifications on your phone. So I think it's a real game changer for people building dApps because dApps have been stuck in the 90s or maybe the early 2000s as just standalone websites. You can't share links on Twitter anymore. It's just really hard to get distribution for an app. And I think that's why so many of the dApps that are popular are really financialized DeFi applications, for example. And there's so few apps that are more like the kinds of apps that regular people play with on their phone all the time, games, utilities, etc.
I hope they lean into like the frames harder than they lean into like the social feed. I think if they go like, I don't think most Coinbase wallet users want like a new Twitter in their wallet, but I think, you know, having the social graph and integrating frames in, and, you know, 100xing the like addressable market for frame builders would be huge. I think the risk or like way they fuck this up if they try to like put a feed fucking front and center and people are like, what is this?
Yeah,
like,
for sure. For sure, front and center. I do think that the follow graph and occasional hand-picked highlights of, for example, people's trades, but using their PFP username and wallet address from the Farcaster social graph could be very interesting to include. And, you know, if you're trying to make money more on the speculative side of purchasing assets inside of your Coinbase wallet, then you're also going to get the benefit of what they announced a couple of weeks ago, which is sort of blending the CEX and DEX experiences so that their users can have greater exposure to all the hot new tokens without them having to list them on Coinbase proper. So I think this is going to be a very exciting venue. And then if you see someone like a Twitter influencer and you can see their trades or some huge gains or some new app that they're interacting with. I think it's going to make a lot of sense. So exciting news, and not just about Coinbase, because I think also once other wallets see, if Coinbase proves that integrating Farcaster makes Coinbase wallet more engaging, then every other wallet will follow suit quickly enough. So I think basically what we're seeing is the migration from the in-wallet web browser to perhaps a world where crypto-enabled mini apps via the Farcaster spec and the Farcaster social graph get a lot of new ground to play on. So very exciting for people who are already working in that ecosystem.
For sure. Do you know what Snapchain is? I saw Varun talk about this week. I don't know anything.
I don't
about
understand
it,
the details, but it is
Okay.
the underlying infrastructure mechanism for propagating casts across the hubs, and it's something that they launched in the last few months. It's like a big rewrite of their
Okay.
underlying infrastructure. Yeah.
Okay, got it. Sweet. So yeah, bullish for anyone building frames. Hopefully, we'll see if it works, but nice.
Totally.
Yeah, the Coinbase Mafia is alive and well.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what it does to Privy, actually. I'm very curious how embedded wallets end up playing in this world, because if you have a mini app inside of either Warpcast, Coinbase, or Rainbow, you already have a wallet. Warpcast will be embedding a EOA shortly. So does this mean Privy is in danger, or how should an app developer think about what to propose to their users is
Totally.
a question to be resolved.
I mean, I know even a year ago when Privy was starting to get attention and be kind of like the de facto embedded wallet, and in the application layer, like Coinbase was paying attention and worried. So I wouldn't be surprised if this is like a combative approach to kind of taking over that market.
Yeah, very interesting.
All right, sick. Let's jump to crypto user motivation. So this was an Elon tweet this week that a bunch of people were, I don't know, bunch of Twitter discourse around it. So actually, please go to the other one, the one he's quote tweeting here. So he wrote that most people fundamentally misunderstand why retail users come to crypto. Very few are purely driven by financial gain. If they were, they'd already be in the trenches. They're also driven by personal fulfillment. They want to have fun and make friends. Few products reflect this. So obviously, like, hilarious from the Pump Fund founder, but I'm curious if this checks out for you guys, or this just seems like fugazi.
Yeah, I think people are. I definitely think people. I wish I had pulled the book out, but there's this book, Speculative Communities, about how the increasing precarity drives people. Also, especially in a world with less and less religion, people are driven to these kind of speculative communities where they get to gamble on things, both for the potential financial upside, but also the kind of human connection to other members of that speculative community. So it can be about sports, it can be about crypto, etc. You definitely see this in every altcoin community. Where people are hanging on for dear life for so long with their compatriots in some subreddit or whatever. So I think there's a huge aspect of like spiritual fulfillment that people get from something like believing in the macro shift to crypto economy, and then the specific genre that they focus in on, be that base, Solana, whatever. So yeah, I totally agree. It's not purely financial, and it's not purely rational. I think people want to make friends, network, and have a sort of richer life, even if they're going to express it in a more
and hit 1,000x.
And hit 1,000x. It's not one or the other.
It's not one or the other. And I always feel annoying, I guess, when I get kind of abstract like this, but just money is inherently social, and even the desire to profit is actually about how you relate to other people in society, whether it's climbing the social ladder or whatever. Like, it just to get rich is a social motivation, and it is about being belonging in the larger world. And a lot of that comes from dudes flexing on TikTok. Thank you, Andrew Tate. But
yeah, I mean,
that's what it is.
I think I struggle a bit to believe, or anyone that's like come into crypto in the last 6 months, they've probably come in through like, Moonshot or someone telling them to buy a meme coin. So I don't know how true this has been in like the people that have been exposed to crypto in the last 6 months or something, but I do like very much believe that it highlights where the big opportunity lies. Because I think if you're just built, like we've seen this time and time again, like if you're just building pure social experiences in crypto today, it ends up just feeling completely undifferentiated from anything that exists in Web 2, and it's not interesting. But also I think just pure financial games also pretty quickly gets empty, especially because you probably just repeatedly lose all your money. So I think it's really like the combination of financial opportunities, social experiences, and entertainment that is kind of like the big new design space here at the consumer level.
I mean, the only way to measure opportunity in crypto is to have a social understanding of who's involved with what the thing is.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is interesting to think of crypto as rather than an alternative. I mean, it does seem like crypto is, if you zoom out, just an ingredient for building applications or experiences. It's not, we focus on it so much as a vertical of its own because the barrier to entry has been so high that it's created its own enclave of people who are enthusiasts in it. But really, as that barrier becomes lower and lower, it is really just like some aspect of the internet that you can integrate or not into your applications. And yet, I think there will also always be this vestigial, cultural crypto native culture and specific culture for each community that existed before crypto just became something that, like, I don't know, web video chat or another aspect of sort of internet modernization. So it'll be interesting to see.
I think this David Phelps tweet is good. He said, nailed it. We have one side of the space that wants pure casino culture and another that wants pure social consensus governance plays. Both are dead ends until they find a way to work together. Pump Fund and Polymarket are best examples.
Yeah, I don't know about the governance plays working at all, but
no, it's but I think combining, financial games with entertainment with governance, or like, I think we've always said this throughout the DAO cycle, that people don't want ownership experience, or people want ownership experiences, not ownership responsibilities, and I think that just continues being true.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Let's jump to new clankers. So a couple fun clankers got dropped this week.
Yeah, so there's Clank Tank is a new project that lets anybody pitch their, I guess, startup idea or just idea in general in a cast. And then there are these AI agents that review it. They will respond, I believe, immediately with a pass, like it, or love it. And depending on what reaction they give, they'll deploy between 0.5% and I think even up to 20% up to 3%, between 0.5% and 3% of their reserves to purchase up to 20% of the supply of the new project's token, which will itself be launched on Clanker. And then when a token's market cap reaches a threshold that they don't reveal, these bots will, the clanks, which are like the sharks, will sell a portion of their stake. So interesting sort of mixture of cliche from television and agentic reactions to posts on Farcaster, all around launching tokens that are representative of some kind of idea that can be pitched in this kind of pitch competition style.
Well, it's kind of a cool economic model too, right? Because I think there's a tank token, so obviously they're earning LP fees on that. I think it got some pretty good attention when they launched it yesterday, and then they're using those fees to launch new tokens that the agents deem as being interesting. Will also earn fees and tokens from that, and kind of be in this like self-sustaining loop, assuming they choose tokens well and have some attention and distribution that drives people wanting to launch clankers to go there to kind of tap into it instead of just doing it themselves. So yeah, gonna be a fun to watch for sure.
100%. They've got a buy burn mechanism on that tank token. So I'm curious if the LLMs that are evaluating these pitches are not gameable in some way, but
that's half the fun. That's half the fun though, right?
Yeah, and I guess in a way the agents are in the same boat as us, or similar, in that their participation, their vote is like a real liquid, real-time vote, and it's connected to the market. So maybe they can even make some of these tokens popular. I'm a little curious if they're going to end up staying popular, but it's a totally interesting experiment, and something that you would have a lot of trouble doing anywhere else. So pretty cool integration of Ethereum base, I assume, and Farcaster. There's a second one in a adjacent vein, Product Clank, which is similar in that founders list their products on this, I guess, token launchpad, and every product gets its own community distribution engine in the terminology of the founders, where there's a meme coin, and early supporters can get in early and back the projects. My sense is that they're probably pre-launch projects. I didn't look much further into it than that, but yeah, I guess a fusion of something like a token launchpad and a product hunt, which is an idea we've talked about a bunch of times. So interesting to see someone taking a stab at it, and it does have its own token, this PRO.
Yeah, I've wanted this exact idea to exist and have been thinking about it for a year. I think if people announce stuff on Product Hunt to get attention and attract community or acquire new users, and it just feels like injecting tokens into that are such a natural fit, not only to generate some revenue for these early stage projects, but also get some people with skin in the game. Obviously, like attention base you can tap into by leveraging tokens is potentially much higher. So I think it's a fun experiment.
Actually, I'm not sure. Maybe PRO is not. I don't know if it's the platform token or just one of the tokens that they've dropped. I think it is for Product Link itself.
Looks like it.
Yeah, I think the challenge here is like, what does the meme coin represent? If it represents the launch, then that's chill. But as a founder, maybe you want to be a little more thoughtful, or at least not pay as much fees to all the various intermediaries in the process here. So I agree with you, though. There is something around this. And I think the big challenge and what people will have to figure out and see if it is even possible is, can you establish a separate category of meme coin related to, for example, an initial product release that is not the fundamental equity looking token for the thing, but instead, just some separate kind of coin. So we'll be curious to see.
Yeah, it's kind of a throwback to, I guess, like Jacob's prophecy markets, or even just like the cereals that Airbnb used to like raise money initially. Like those are collectibles now. So
totally.
I think even if they are just like launch announcement tokens or like project associated meme coins, if the projects do well, I think there's reason to believe that there'd be potentially some staying power, but who the fuck knows? It's meme coin land.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, sick. We're at time. Peace, you want to throw up one lightning round maybe, if any of them speak to you, or we could also jump to can art save Ethereum, because I want Peace to go riff on that one.
Let's do that one. Jack had some good posts this week.
Okay, let's jump to that one. Yeah, so Kazomo de Medici here was saying, I had a feeling digital art would save Ethereum, quote tweeting, I think Jack Butcher's like riff on the built on Ethereum tag. And then, yeah, Jack Butcher had a good tweet here, just kind of suggesting that, like, so he said, unironically, what is the value of 10,000 sought after digital objects like punks versus the equivalent amount of liquid capital to a chain? I believe you already know the answer. There's a very pragmatic reason for leaders, patrons, et cetera, to support and champion non-fungible objects on their infrastructure. Culture is the only moat. Blah, 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 blah. Art will outlast apps. And I think, culture is the only moat. Bang on. I think the like lindiness of some like canonical digital art and like the culture and ecosystem that surrounds it feels much longer lasting than potentially like the meme coin casino. So I definitely think there's some truth to this, but Peace, I'm curious what you think.
It's so hard to have an opinion here. I mean, it's such a funny like non sequitur. Like this has nothing to do with art, 100%. nor is this going to save Ethereum. But Jack's concepts are awesome, and I really like this framing of basically the staying power of non-fungible assets really as apps. They just are. It is an app actually, versus the equivalent amount of liquid capital, which will just go wherever it's best treated.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, what did Namik say? I like that liquidity. What did he say?
Oh, it's liquidity will go where it's best served or wherever it's best treated.
Or liquidity needed to feel. I don't know. He had a good line. We'll find it.
Nice. Okay. Love it.
Okay, sick. Well, let's leave it here. Like Mon chain, we don't really know anything about.
Yeah, 0x Mon's launching any chain.
XMT chain. So XMT, the like decentralized messaging protocol, launched a chain. Kind of found it funny because it didn't get any adoption as a protocol. So not sure launching a chain will save it, but I don't know. Maybe there's something interesting in there. All right,
yeah,
cool.
very unclear.
Now we can say we got through it. Sick.
Hey, we did it. And look, just hit 1 hour broadcast. Amazing.
Let's go. All right. Well, thanks for tuning in. We'll be back next week as always. Jess, we missed you. Hope you're having a good flight. And have a good Friday.
Yeah. Thanks, Josh. Thanks, Peace. Thanks everyone for tuning in. See you again next week.
Happy Friday.
Peace.
Internet Explorers.